At a time of heightened alert in Israel and the Middle East, we are so fortunate to have a forthright American-Israeli guest speaker with us, as we also mark Pride Shabbat this morning. Yuval David is an Emmy and International Film Festival award-winning Israeli-American actor, filmmaker, journalist, and human rights activist. For him, LGBTQ+ and Jewish pride are not just identities, they're sacred responsibilities. From his roots right here at JDS, the Jewish Day School, to global media platforms and international advocacy stages, Yuval brings a unique, compelling voice to what it means to be joyfully, unapologetically, proudly queer and Jewish, and fearlessly pro-Israel. As a storyteller in television, film, and journalism, and viral social media content, he sharpens the approach to Jewish activism and the movement of Jewish identity and its future. He will speak with us now, and then we have a further talkback Q&A at 12:30 in the chapel. Please welcome Yuval.
Thank you, Rabbi Megdal. It's an honor having known you for so long, and my dear, amazing friend Karen Ben Ezra. Also, thank you, of course, to Rabbi Harris and the very bold vocal pipes of Chazan Fradkin. Very, very impressive. You mention things that I've done in this little bio that you shared. I live in the DC area again. I never knew that I would move back to this area, but I was raised in this area, raised in Potomac, Maryland, was a lifer at JDS from K through 12, and understood how important that education was for me. I understood it when I was there, the importance of being part of a community. Not only that, the importance of being an active member within the community, for the community, and for others. Little did I know that many years later I'd be moving back to the DC area due to the work that I do within media and advocacy. And using the lessons that I learned in my formative years of being a little Jew, and now understanding that I'm still a little Jew. I might be short in height, but I'm tall in might. And when I see Jews come up and practice and read silently, and hide their Judaism or take their kippah off because they're afraid of walking in the street, or doing what you probably have done at some point and tuck your Magen David in at one moment or another. So many of us have done it. I've done that as well. Shame on me for tucking in my Magen David. Shame on us for tucking away our Judaism, because Judaism is a celebration. We are at war. We're at war. And there are so many battles, battle after battle after battle, and we are losing so many of those battles. But why are we still here? Why do we show up? Why do we throw candy at the Bnei Mitzvah? Because we're saying, oh my, insert whatever other words you want to put in there, you are entering adulthood. You are entering the adulthood of being a Jew. Look at what has happened to the Jewish people for thousands of years. We've been victimized. We've had the Shoah. We've had the Farhud. We have pogroms. We get murdered outside of a Jewish history, Jewish museum in Washington, D.C. We have firebombs thrown at us in Chicago. We have to have security at the Jewish day schools and at our synagogues. And Jewish businesses are targeted. And Jews are afraid to walk around with their Magen David. Oh my gosh, congratulations on being a bat and bar mitzvah. Let us throw candy at you to remind you of the sweetness of what it also means to be a Jew. Because we don't live as victims, we live as determined, resilient survivors, where the scars on our bodies, in our hearts, and in our neshama become the scars that move us forward, become the scars that empower us and make us stronger, because we recognize that we too have been hurt, that we live with pain. So when Rabbi Megdal and Karen Ben Ezra asked if I would come and speak to you on Pride Shabbat, I was perplexed because I'm seeing a lack of pride. I'm seeing a lot of Jews who don't show up. There are 2.4 billion Christians in the world. There are 2.2 billion Muslims in the world. There are 1.3 billion Hindus in the world. There are 585 million Buddhists in the world. I can go through all of those numbers. There are less than 16 million Jews in the world. Some people say anywhere from 15.3 million to 15.7 million Jews in the world. The numbers are not really in our favor. There are 7,039,000 Jews in Israel. There are more than 6 million Jews in the United States. There are 442,000 Jews in France. There are 394,000 Jews in the UK, or in Canada. There are 292,000 Jews in the UK. I can go through all those numbers. We are a minority. So why is this room the room of Jews who show up? Where are the rest of the Jews? Don't even need to finish the sentence. Where are they? So when we talk about pride, yes, I'm here to talk about Pride Shabbat as an LGBT Jew, where my LGBT identity empowered my Jewish identity, where being educated as a smart, informed, prepared Jew empowered my LGBT activism and the civil rights, social justice, and human rights activism. We had the group of members who came up here, and although they said it in English, I had to translate it into Hebrew to know what they were talking about, because I was in the Israeli classes at JDS, for those of you who are JDS students. Lo isagoy el goy cherev velo ilmedu od milchama. May nation not lift up sword against nation, and may they not learn war. Well, you know what? We are at war. People want to kill us. Every Jewish holiday, we all know the joke. Every Jewish holiday can be described in those 9 words. They tried to kill us. We survived. Let's eat. Why do we eat? You've heard the joke before, but you still laughed, which is impressive, because it's one of those jokes that I've heard at least from my father, Zichrono Livracha, 20 times. And Rabbi Megdal, you mentioned looking up at the mountains. Esa enai el haharim. Esa enai el haharim. This song of looking up, even when we're in the depths of despair, even when we're in the depths of the valley where the landslides and the rock falls have come down into, and the mud and the dirt is burying us in the valley, we still look up to the mountaintop. We still look up, recognizing that we have so much further to go, and we know that it's treacherous, because some of that rock might be slippery under our feet. Or maybe as you climb further up and I'm slipping, you'll extend your hand back to help me, because that is your job, that is your duty, that's who you're supposed to be as a Jew and ally of our people. We're in this together. Not one of us can be alone. And when we feel alone, it's also a mitzvah to reach out and to say, you know what, I feel alone right now, I need you. How much does that suck? We expect people to show up for us when we need them, but we learn time and time again that they don't always show up. So here we are celebrating Pride during LGBT Pride Month. We welcome Shabbat, we hold each other, we sing these songs, we tell our stories, and that in itself is powerful. Because you do know what defines Jews? Do you know what defines Zionism? Success. Why can't we define ourselves with that word, success? We survived. We succeeded. So many nations try to kill us. Nations are trying to kill us right now. Nations are trying to erase us, take our narrative away from us, so you will no longer be able to define your Jewishness the way you do. Someone else is going to try to control the narrative. And I went through all the numbers of the people that there are out there and how few of us there are. So if we don't sing our prayers, if we don't throw our candies at saying, bar and bat mitzvah, bnei mitzvah, This means you now have more responsibility on you. But here's the sweetness. Don't forget, you need to celebrate it, not just take the weight of the world on your shoulders, but remember it's beneath your feet. And in this week's Parsha, Ba'alotcha, it offers this moment that was especially deep for me, especially during this LGBT Pride Month when Queers for Palestine keeps chasing after me and trying to erase everything I do, saying that I have no right to be an LGBT activist because how dare I, and I quote, they accuse me of being obviously Zionist and openly Jewish. That's an accusation in their mind. And I'm like, oh, I feel so seen, thank you. So in this Parsha, there's a group of individuals who were left out of the opportunity to participate in Pesach, in the Passover offering. So what do? As our people do, we kvetch. We complain, we rise up, and they approached Moshe and they asked a very bold, audacious question of the leader of our people at the time. Lama nigara, why should I be left out? Why should I be left out? This was the very first protest in recorded Jewish tradition, of a group of people rising up in protest against our leadership, rising up in protest for inclusion. They were in mourning. They were considered ritually impure at the time. They could have been ignored. They could have been dismissed. They could have been sidelined, but they refused exclusion. They didn't quietly accept the system as it was. They said and demanded that the system change. And what happened next? The system changed because the people spoke up. Am Israel spoke up. And Moshe then created with the word of Hashem, the word of God, a new opportunity, Pesach Sheni, which is what we're talking about right now in this Parsha. A second Passover that ensures that nobody will be forgotten. And that's who we are. That's who we've always been. When the systems forget us, we remember ourselves. When the doors are closed in our faces, we don't just knock on them, we build new doorways. And when people try to erase us, which is happening right now, we must write ourselves back into that history. And I experienced it firsthand a week ago. We had World Pride here in Washington, D.C. I was the only Jew who showed up, or actually let me say it this way, I was the only person who showed up at the World Pride Parade and March with a Jewish pride flag. The only one. Because Jews, synagogues, organizations were warned. The FBI has warnings against us. People were afraid to show up. People were afraid to be, the accusation came against me, obviously Zionist and openly Jewish. But I showed up. Jews were told, be careful having stars of David, you might be attacked. Well, I wore one on my shirt and around my neck. The message is clear that we have received from civil rights, social justice, human rights movements, progressive movements, LGBTQ movements, my own movements that I've been involved in for more than 20 years, that I was taught to be involved in and how to be involved in since my childhood at JDS. But the message has been clear from them. Pride is for everyone except Jews. We don't make ourselves small to fit someone else's narrow view of justice. I refuse to closet myself for any part of my identity. And I refuse to change myself to make somebody else more comfortable. If they're not comfortable with me, then insert a word, themselves. Go for it. With my blessing, go insert the word yourself. Because I must be a strong Jew. So a question here for all of you. How many warriors are in this room? Raise your hand if you're a warrior. Everybody look around. Neil, hold your hand up. You held it up. All right. Why aren't the rest of us holding our hands up? Every single one of us is a warrior. Every single one of us is fighting for our life. We showed up at synagogue when people today were afraid to show up because they're worried about what might happen. We are warriors for our people. We are leaders for our people. Rabbi Megdal is no closer to Hashem than I am. The job of our rabbis is to hold our hands, to guide us, to teach us. But it's our job to also question them, because maybe the rabbi will learn something from me. Maybe I will learn something from her. We are all Klal Israel. We are all part of Israel. So at this Pride March, people came up to me and yelled "Free Palestine" at me and said, and chanted out, "Jews ruined pride," whatever that means, and chanted out all kinds of other things that you can only imagine, that you surely have heard based on seeing what's going on the campuses, outside Jewish businesses, outside of Jewish events. And that was my experience during Pride. So I marched on, because you know what? I don't fight back. I don't. Because I was taught through our Jewish education and tradition not to fight back. I fight forward. I fight forward because I believe in the next step. If we didn't believe in fighting forward, then why would we still be here? We might as well all convert to Christianity or Islam or Buddhism or leave our Judaism behind, because it's really hard to be a Jew. But we believe in a better day. We believe in the children, and we throw the candy at them. What we're witnessing now in the streets, online, college campuses, in boardrooms, and in parliaments is a surge of violent anti-Jewish bigotry, often masked as anti-Zionism, anti-Israel, and misnamed as activism. So let me be clear. This is not about policies. It's not about the Israeli government. It's about identity. It's not about what Israel does. It's about what Israel is. It's not about how Jews act. It's that we dare to live, to be at all. So we must respond with clarity, with moral courage. So the next time somebody asks how many warriors are in this room, every single one of us raises our hand with pride and with strength. And that includes our allies who are one of us. Because we belong. Not because someone else gives us permission to belong, but because our ancestors paid the price for us to be here. Because we are part of a people who are ancient, resilient, and part of a beautiful story that deserves to be told and sung in every room. It's why we don't just read the Torah, we sing the Torah. We sing the words. And for those of you who sometimes feel politically homeless, like I very much do, like we don't fit neatly into any party or any movement, I say this. We always have a home within our people, because we know that we can disagree, and if we disagree, we engage in the conversation even deeper. We don't end a conversation because it's challenging or complicated. We say, oh, what makes it complicated for you? And we're actually interested. We're the children of prophets. We're the children of rebels, of those who asked, why should I be left out? And we demanded something better. So, in the way that I was very moved this morning, I poeticized. We were never meant to disappear, not from history, not from the streets, not from the stories that they try to delete, not from the movements that forget our name or whisper it with guilt and shame. We have been labeled, libeled, slaughtered, sued, exiled, erased, yet we are renewed. We are the ones who count loss like stars, who wear grief like a tailored suit, who make jokes of our pain and scars and laugh with salt still on the wound. We carry trauma in our DNA, folded in like family recipes. Measure the pain, stir in resilience, bake it 400 degrees of exile, and serve it with love, because that is what we do. We did it then, and we do it now. We've been told to disappear, to make ourselves quieter, smaller, less than us. But every single time we said no, we said dayenu, we became something new, something louder, something necessary, something that they couldn't ignore. When there was no place for us, we made the space. When the door was slammed, we built a window. When the window shattered, we danced in the glass and then rebuilt it into stained light. That is what we do. We survive. And survival has never been enough for us. We thrive, we create, we write symphonies out of sirens. We turn warning signs into welcome mats. We don't just stay alive, we stay loud. We stay present, we stay everywhere. And when they say we don't belong, we say no, because we're not always easy to hold. We ask questions with no answers. We interrupt, we argue at dinner, we mourn out loud. We love without apology. We show up in the wrong shoes, and we still dance and steal the show. They tried to make us into statistics, so we became storytellers. They tried to cut us out of the script, and we became the whole, insert word, scene. We might lose many battles, we have, but we must win the war. One with dignity, for memory, for meaning, for the right to be fully, wildly ourselves, because we were never meant to disappear, not from the maps, not from the movements, and not from the moments that matter, because we are still here, we are still messy, we are still miraculous, we are still marching, we are still mourning, we are still making room for laughter. We are the children of those who were not supposed to make it. And look at us now, alive, unapologetic, deeply complicated, and still so very good at this. So if they ask you, why are you still here? Look them in the eye and say, because we are made of memory and muscle, of exile and fire, because history tried to burn us, but we are the roots and we are the bloom. We are the stubborn light that keeps returning, the proof that existing is resistance, that living is winning, that Am Yisrael chai, and so do I. Toda rabba. Shabbat shalom.